Welcome back to Awful Stories. It's Matt here, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe to not miss your daily fix on Reddit stories. Let's jump into our first post in the relationship subreddit. The post is titled, I am in love with my best friend. About a year ago, I started a friends with benefits relationship with someone in my friend group who I was not particularly close with. We both took it in the wrong direction by going on pseudo dates and having really poor communication skills, so of course I had to catch feelings, which was absolutely not the plan. After a few months, he broke it off because he said he was not interested in a relationship due to life situations he wanted to work on. I respected that decision and did my best to move on. Then, this summer, he resolved most or all of the life situations he had wanted to fix, and we went on an international 2 week vacation together because somehow he had become my closest friend. He told me that he did not want to date me because he believed we would only be happy for a year and that he would remain in an unhappy relationship longer than he wanted to, just because he would not want to see me upset. It seemed like a ridiculous answer, but I told myself I could just squash those feelings deep down, never to be seen again. It worked for a while, as I tried my best to date someone else and find a connection similar to what my best friend and I had together. In the last few weeks, though, I have found that despite dating other people in the meantime and talking myself out of feeling anything for him, I can no longer deny that I may actually be in real love with this man. The realization came when we talked about the possibility of moving in together with his other roommate in order to save on rent in the city. When I thought about him bringing other women back to the shared space, I immediately got that foreboding pit of jealous, hopeless feeling in my stomach. We had a 30-second talk about why it would not work and how my jealousy was my problem and not his. During that conversation, he agreed that we had amazing chemistry, would be good for each other, truly cared for me, and that the sex had been great. Again, he said that we would only be happy for a year and that it just was not worth it. So here is my dilemma. Is it selfish of me to ask for our one good year? The more he talks to other women and sets up other dates, the more it feels like either way, I will lose his friendship. We spend a significant amount of time alone together, but always as just friends. He is someone I want in my life, but being stuck in this limbo is making it incredibly difficult to focus on anyone else as a potential partner. 6 years later, OP gave us an update. 6 years ago, I was here lamenting the feelings I had developed for my friends with benefits partner turned best friend. Let us call him Frankie. After the initial pain of rejection, we both agreed to stay best friends. We moved in together with three of our other friends and lived as platonic roommates. We confided in each other about all our dating woes, cooked together most nights, and continued having fun nights out. During that time, I grew equally close to my other roommates and had a casual lockdown fling with one of them, who is now one of my closest friends. After 3 years of living together, I had finally, mostly, gotten over my feelings for Frankie. We were both casually dating other people and were in a good place. I had spent many holidays with his extended family as his best friend and was content knowing that I had a lifelong friend. Then he had a big health scare. It ended up not being anything major, but at the time it put a lot of things into perspective for both of us. The night Frankie returned from the hospital, we had a heart to heart. I cried as I told him how scared I was during the emergency, and it ended with us both deciding to try dating seriously. We moved out of the group house with our friends into a small condominium together. It took some time to shift from an awkward platonic relationship to a truly romantic one, but we allowed the relationship to take its own time and course. It has been 3 years together now. He is currently cradling our shared cat as we plan a romantic weekend getaway to New York. He was right. After the 1 year mark, we sat down and had a big talk. We discussed what each of us needed to work on to continue the relationship. Instead of it being a relationship death sentence, it led to both of us getting therapy, making positive changes, and becoming even closer. We now have such open communication that, even after 3 years, we have not had a fight. I could not be happier to have my person, as well as the wonderful family that I now get to be a part of. The second story for today takes place in the relationship advice subreddit, titled, I went overseas for my brother's funeral, got stuck, and now my pregnant fiance says I abandoned her. I am really struggling and could use some outside perspective. I, 30M, have been with my fiance, 29F, for 3 years. We were long distance for most of that time and finally moved in together around April. She is currently pregnant and due at the end of December. At the end of November, my only older brother passed away suddenly in Zimbabwe. He left behind two young children. When I got the news, I was in shock. I felt a strong need to be there, not just for the funeral, but to see my niece and nephew and support my mother as well. I booked a flight the next day and planned to be away from Wednesday to Sunday. I tried to limit the time because my fiance is pregnant, my job could not give me much leave, and money is tight with a baby coming. I genuinely believed I could go, say goodbye, support my family briefly, and be back quickly for my partner. On the day I was meant to fly home, I was denied boarding because I did not have my British passport with me. I had traveled on my Zimbabwean passport and did not realize this would be an issue. Since then, I have been stuck trying to get an emergency travel document. The process took much longer than expected, but it has finally been approved, and I should be home early next week. Being stuck here has been awful. I am grieving my brother, worrying about the children he left behind, taking unpaid leave, and constantly stressing about my pregnant fiance being alone back home. I feel helpless and emotionally numb. My fiance is extremely angry and says I should never have gone, that I abandoned her when she needed me most, and that we could have saved the money. I understand how scared and overwhelmed she must feel, but I hope she would also understand why I felt I needed to go. Today is her birthday, and she has blocked me. She told me she cannot do this anymore and wants to be left alone. I cannot reach her at all. I never intended to abandon her. I thought I could be there for my brother's funeral, see the children he left behind, and still be there for my partner. Instead, I feel like I have lost both at once. How do I fix this when I am not even home yet? Let's lay out what actually happened. OP's only brother died suddenly. OP immediately booked a 4-day trip, 4 days, to attend the funeral, see the orphan kids, and support his grieving mother. Then got trapped abroad due to a passport issue he's actively trying to fix. That's not abandonment, by the way. What OP's fiance is doing, she's blocking communication with her partner, the father of her unborn child, while he's grieving, stuck in another country, hemorrhaging money on unpaid leave, and desperately trying to get home during a family emergency. Yes, pregnancy is hard. Yes, being alone near your due date is scary, but she's not due until late December. OP left at the end of November for what should have been a weekend trip. She had support options. She had communication. What she didn't have was OP's permission to go, apparently, and that's the real issue here. And now she's weaponizing silence when OP needs support most. OP can't fix this from Zimbabwe, but honestly, OP shouldn't have to. The person who needs to fix something here is the woman who thinks her birthday matters more than her partner's dead sibling and who punishes grief with abandonment. This third and final story takes us to the True Off My Chest subreddit, titled, I went from judging fat people to being fat myself. I am so embarrassed. I, 28F, used to be very fat phobic for most of my life. Being skinny or average came to me without much trouble or watching what I ate, and I was always very vocal about other people's diets and weights. In particular, my older sister and mother have always been quite fat, so I made my fair share of snide comments to them. I really could not imagine why they could not just exercise a bit more or put down the bag of chips when they knew what it was doing to their figures. Then, during the COVID pandemic, I started to put on real weight myself for the first time ever. During the lockdown, I was forced to work from home, and many of my social outings, such as dancing and clubbing, completely stopped. I suddenly had to watch what I ate much more closely and, in general, began to eat more out of stress and boredom. Skip ahead to the end of 2025, and I am over 300 pounds. I am heavier than both my sister and my mother, and I'm genuinely embarrassed about it all. Only now am I realizing how hard it is to actually maintain your weight or lose any. My grandmother says I had it coming because my sister and mother were fat, so I was bound to be as well. I feel like I got some serious karma and was punished for being rude about other people's weight. Edit. To answer some questions, I am 5'6", so yes, 300 pounds is a pretty serious weight for me. I have been going to therapy. My therapist says I probably eat to regulate my emotions, and we are looking for other coping mechanisms. I have, in fact, apologized to my sister. Do not worry, she still regularly calls me out about my past. I do not like it, but I also know she is within her rights to do so. My mother, on the other hand, does not talk much about it and sees it all as water under the bridge, though she is worried about my weight. Financially Secure said, what did your mom and sister say when you apologized to them for judging them? To this, OP said, my sister laughed it off and has been fat shaming me instead for now being fatter than she is. It does not happen often, but she occasionally mimics the remarks I used to make to her when she was overeating or when I am clearly too heavy to do some task easily. My mother sees things as water under the bridge. She did not want to have an apology talk and was just happy that I attempted to apologize. The conversation actually turned to her being worried about my weight, so that was a rough one for me.